Final Fantasy.
The only game in the series where running was a solution to some encounters, and you had to do some homework to figure out what to do and where to go.
Final Fantasy 2.
How did combining this and this end up as a high fantasy?
Final Fantasy 3.
More than 20 different job classes, and you're going to be picking the same one every time because of the gear.
Final Fantasy 4.
The characters now have personalities, and you might even convince yourself that ATB is a good system.
Final Fantasy 5.
Sure, the story's lacking, but improvements to both the job system and ATB, as well as the post-game content, more than make up for it.
Final Fantasy 6.
The successful successor to Final Fantasy II, with a more open-ended story and more entertaining villain.
Final Fantasy 7.
Square's biggest scandal that helped define a console generation.
Final Fantasy 8.
You better like the main character, because this is his story, life sim included.
Final Fantasy 9.
Listen, I know I gotta spend a couple days going through this dungeon, but I really want to know what's going on with that guy over there.
Final Fantasy 10. Final Fantasy 11.
Their first take on an MMO where you're interacting with randos whether you like it or not.
Final Fantasy 10-2.
The first direct sequel in the series where we go from a melodramatic quest to seal a god to a magical girl romp.
Final Fantasy 12.
A lot to promise in the beginning, but falls apart into a combat-heavy auto-battler.
Final Fantasy 12. Revenant Wings.
Taking auto-battling to the next level by making it an RTS, on the NDS.
Crisis Core. Final Fantasy 7.
A handheld prequel where gambling and 3 words are going to cause you more trauma than whatever Sephiroth and Cloud go through.
Final Fantasy 4. The After Years.
I cannot summarize the amount of baffling decisions this game makes to fit in this format.
Final Fantasy 13.
What you get when you combine the linearity of 10, the auto-battling of 12, and make it into a shitty digital devil saga.
Final Fantasy 14.
Once considered the worst entry in the series until it pulled a No Man's Sky level redemption and is now arguably the most played and successful entry.
Final Fantasy 13-2.
A direct sequel that tries really hard to be as disconnected from the previous entry as possible.
Lightning Returns. Final Fantasy 13.
A series of fetch quests and an unpolished time loop.
Final Fantasy 15.
An open world road trip with the boys! For like 2/3 of the main story.
Final Fantasy 7 Remake.
Well, they milked just about every other avenue, might as well remake it.
Final Fantasy 16.
The grimdark entry that surprisingly isn't copying Berserk.
Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth.
That's him in the money shower.